reverse hinge doors and the rising roof are just as the tension between exuberant. It turned out the joke was half meant. So, the Project Mojo lens is already a working prototype. The device is based on a tiny micro-LED display the size of a grain of sand, which, combined with smart sensors and an ARM Core M0 processor, upgrades the vision of the owner. It's powered by built-in batteries and works like in a video game. Maps, messages, and other options appear in front of your eyes. The device is controlled by your sight, and one charge is enough for a day of work. The recharging method remains a secret for now. Unfortunately, it's too early to talk about mass production. First, the gadget has to be tested by volunteers. Then the lenses will be finished and sent to the US FDA for approval. So for now, it's worth saving money. The price the team specified will be comparable to the price of a high-end smartphone. Transition to car production was so difficult that in 1922 the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. The situation was saved by Henry Ford, who bought the company. Today, the famous luxury car manufacturer is still owned by the Ford Motor Company. In August 2022, Lincoln engineers looked into the future and showed the Lincoln Model L100. This is a tribute to the 1922 Model L, produced just after Ford purchased the company, but with an abundance of futuristic and unexpected details. The huge rising roof, the steering wheel and pedals were removed, giving place to a controller, and the floor is now digital. The design also follows the most recent ecological trends. There are a lot of eco-friendly materials like recycled suede fabric in the trim, with alluring beauty that captivates upon approach. The L100 is the tension between exuberant 100 concepts in this field. Their Chinese division has presented a prototype that's already being actively tested. The prototype is called the Vimo Flying Tiger, and it has a tiger-like livery for a reason. It was launched in 2022, the Chinese Lunar New Year of the Tiger. It's known that the vehicle's designed for 4 people, and it can fly 124 miles. It's also able to take off and land vertically. It was developed from scratch, with experts noting that this model is the first of many remarkable milestones on our exciting journey towards urban air travel. At the first stage, Vimo will be rather a VIP transport, and then it will help in city and intercity transportations. This approach will help avoid something like the 100-mile traffic jam. Car production was so difficult that in 1922 the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. The situation was saved by Henry Ford, who bought the company. Today, the famous luxury car manufacturer is still owned by the Ford Motor Company. In August 2022, Lincoln engineers looked into the future and showed the Lincoln Model L100. This is a tribute to the 1922 Model L, produced just after Ford purchased the company, but with an abundance of futuristic and unexpected details. The huge reverse hinge doors and the rising roof are just a few of the features. The steering wheel and pedals were removed, giving place to a controller, and the floor is now digital. The design also follows the most recent ecological trends. There are a lot of eco-friendly materials like recycled suede fabric in the trim, with alluring beauty that captivates upon approach. The L100 concept embraces the tension between exuberant elegance and subtle restraint, Lincoln notes. What do you think? In this field, their Chinese division has presented a prototype that's already being actively tested. The prototype is called the Vimo Flying Tiger, and it has a tiger-like livery for a reason. It was launched in 2022, the Chinese Lunar New Year of the Tiger. It's known that the vehicle's designed for 4 people, and it can fly 124 miles. It's also able to take off and land vertically. It was developed from scratch, with experts noting that this model is the first of many remarkable milestones on our exciting journey towards urban air travel. At the first stage, Vemo will be rather a VIP transport, which will help avoid something like the 160-mile traffic jam on the Beijing-Tibet highway, when the traffic was moving about a half a mile a day, and 400 police officers arrived to patrol it. The American company Space Perspective is confident the first flights will start as early as 2024. Anyone with $125,000 to spare will be able to become a space tourist. The general concept fits into one sentence: a capsule attached to a balloon. Creators are sure that the technology is tested and has been used for decades, including by NASA. Ascent speed is about 12 miles per hour. The test launch without a crew took 6 hours and 39 minutes. The spacecraft rose to about 20.5 miles and then landed near the Gulf of Mexico. The capsule holds 9 people, 8 passengers and the pilot, and is better equipped than most hotel rooms. It has convenient folding seats, panoramic windows, a bar with drinks, a sound system, Wi-Fi, and even a compact bathroom. As you can see, space tourism is reaching a whole new level. Moreover, the configuration of the capsule can be easily changed, for example, for a wedding. For its own energy needs, but also share energy with its neighbors. The authors propose to use the power of wind and note that the rights to the technology are already claimed in 75 countries. The design they've invented is so good that it can be used anywhere in the world at a height of up to 0.6 miles. What's more, it'll work regardless of wind direction and at wind speeds of 13 feet per second or higher. It can also be placed in densely built-up areas, as it's silent and generates no infrasound, and the final energy output can be as much as 200% of the building's needs. At the moment, the team is busy with the project documentation and offers people to invest in the company, becoming a joint owner. Do you think it's a promising investment? Perhaps? No. The author of the project is Belarusian designer Artem Smirnov. And no surprise, the Belarusian authorities often touch on the topic of electric cars and promise that in just 5 years, the country will have its own model. The two-seater Pix L7 concept looks very interesting. Firstly, it's suitable for urban and suburban driving, thanks to the possibility of fitting off-road tires. Secondly, it's universal. If necessary, the Pix L7 turns from a passenger car into a mini truck. Thirdly, the tubular frame, similar to that of a buggy, combines lightness and reliability. The future prospects of the concept are not yet clear, but it's worth remembering that by the end of 2021, 16.5 million electric cars were already on the road worldwide, and that's 3 times more than in 2018. So, the growing popularity of electric vehicles may pave the way for projects such as the Pix L7. Snap, a concept by Australian artist and designer Nick Kalatorakis. This single-seater reminds one of Volkswagen projects. About 10 years ago, they showed a similar concept, the hover car. Volkswagen collected and presented on video ideas submitted by China's ordinary residents. The result was a flying 2-seater vehicle for the electromagnetic roads of the future, and it's possible that Snap will revolutionize the concept of monowheel transportation. We shouldn't forget that there are more than 40 patents in this field, and the idea itself was so popular that it was even parodied in South Park. Unfortunately, the project is posted on Behance, without a description of possible characteristics and prospects, so we can only create our own theories around it. 2040 aims to make hydrogen a popular fuel. So today's concept is about hydrogen, efficiency and sustainability. On the screens is the trailer drone, an autonomous truck equipped with independent steering from both the rear and the front. According to Hyundai experts, it'll be able to travel more than 621 miles per fill-up. But the most curious thing is the split option. In fact, the trailer drone, like a construction set, is assembled from autonomous e-bogie chassis, and after the truck arrives on site, each e-bogie is ready to take its own cargo to the warehouse, unloading zone, or any other place. The company is confident that this system will be useful not only in logistics, but also in rescue operations. For example, the e-bogie can be used as a mobile charging station, firefighting vehicle, or a small airport for drones. Worked only on the restoration of preserved DMC-12 models. But then, the owner decided to take a risk and gave the green light to the DeLorean Alpha 5 project. It was developed by Italdesign, one of the most famous design bureaus in the world. The Alpha 5 has gull-wing doors, there are no central pillars, and the overall look is stylish and streamlined. The drag coefficient will be of 0.23. For comparison, the Tesla Model S has 0.24. 4 people will be able to ride in the Alpha 5. The propulsion system is expected to be electric. The maximum speed will be 150 miles per hour, while the range on a single charge will be 300 miles. The Alpha 5 will be produced in Italy in a limited run of only 88 cars, a reference to the legendary movie. You can also find a modified concept online in the style of the movie. Maybe it should also be put into production. More difficulties for cities, from the abundance of garbage to logistical problems. In order to make urban life more comfortable, the Swiss team Swissmile offers this assistant robot. To promote the robot, they made a spectacular commercial. Any mole runs along the same steps as Rocky in the famous movie. By the way, these 72 steps leading up to the entrance of the Philadelphia Museum of Art became known as the Rocky Steps. But back to the robot. It's capable of carrying a load of up to 110 pounds at up to 13.9 miles per hour. So if you equip any mall with different sensors, you can get a mobile system to monitor anything, from gas pollution to traffic. It can also be useful in logistics, both outdoors and indoors. The team invites all interested parties to get in touch and discuss the details. 1st of July 2016, cars built before 2000 can't be driven in Paris on weekdays. Residents of the city should have the right to breathe normal air, the mayor's office noted. Apparently, after such news, many designers offer their vision of cars of the future. And here's an example. Sergio Luna, a designer from Mexico, has created a concept of an economic mini car. It's basically a big Segway with a seat. Each wheel is driven by 2 electric motors. The vehicle's compact, environmentally friendly, and allows you to avoid traffic jams. If you live alone, why buy a big car? Take this one. Summarizes one of the reviews. Is also a world full of unusual technology. The most famous example is probably the light cycle, whose characteristic glowing light trails often appear on the posters and covers of the Tron projects. For Tron Legacy, Daniel Simon was hired to work on the light cycles. He's a German designer and automotive futurist. Besides this film, he contributed to Oblivion and also worked with Ridley Scott on Prometheus. The expert has been very respectful of the light cycles, taking the original 1980s design and adding a modern twist. Surprisingly, no working light cycles were ever built for Tron Legacy. Full-size models and CGI were enough, but inventors around the world continue to create new versions, which can be used in real life. For example, the Legacy team created 10 models before the release of the movie. The Legacy version takes into account modern trends, so it comes with an iPad dock station. The light cycles were sold for $55,000 each.